So here's a video I hope you enjoy. I want to talk to you about my recommendations on how you should go about naming your children. And trust me, in my college teaching career, I had a lot of Disney princesses over the years, Jasmine's, Ariel's. Seems like every time Disney comes out with a new movie, you can count that in 20 years, those names will be showing up in college classrooms. And how do parents go about naming their children? Sometimes, a vast majority maybe, just use traditional names. Or another option, you name them after famous people. Let me tell you, in my family, there was a George Washington Gutwalt, an Abraham Lincoln Gutwalt. My wife had an uncle, Calvin Coolidge, with his last name. Or they'll use sports stars, actors. Liam is a very popular name right now for boys, as is Chloe for girls. And then there are the new made up names. Some parents want to give their children names that are unique. And trust me, a good percentage of my students, I cannot pronounce their first names. I just have to take a guess at it. Now, I teach online and I do these live seminars and I try to call them by their name. And as soon as I say their name and I apologize if I'm getting it incorrect. Please let me know if I'm saying it wrong because I'm just taking a shot at it. Well, I want to offer a different and what I think is a better way to pick names for your children. First thing, I think this one's important. Put their initials together. See if it spells anything that will embarrass the child when they get older. Definitely important. That's the first thing you should check. And if you notice today, when we talk to people, we'll ask for their first and last names. Back in the day, and I can actually remember when this happened, we asked people for their surnames and their Christian names. People would name children after saints. I think a good example of this is President Kennedy. All of his friends called him Jack. But since there is no Saint Jack, his parents named him John. You had to name your child after a saint. There's no Saint Jack. He was John. And I would like to see people return to the days that people would name their children after saints. And this is why. This is what I'd like to see. Pick a name for your child. Then look up the life of that saint. If the story sounds good, something along the lines that they did good deeds, overcome struggles to live a righteous life, something along those lines. And if you cannot find an appropriate story, pick a different name. And personally, I would go with a lesser known saint. For example, if you want to name your son John, there are many St. Johns out there to pick from. So later, when they ask him, who was he named after? Oh, St. John of Shanghai and San Francisco. And then they can tell their friend or whoever asks this story about St. John of Shanghai and San Francisco. Basically, give an interesting story to whoever asked them. Number two, get an icon of that saint and hang it in the child's bedroom. And make sure the child knows the name of the saint on the icon. Then every year on the child's birthday, sit down with them and read the life of the saint with your child, reminding them that they were named after this saint. This will encourage the child to follow the example that this saint is giving. If the parents think this saint is great, so will the child. And then once the child learns to pray, have them include their patron saint, the saint they were named after, in their prayers. And if you want to hear why Orthodox pray to saints, I'll drop a card up there, or should pop up, and I'll leave you a link below. Then as the kid's grown up, when the child has troubles, challenges, etc., remind them who they were named after and ask them, what would the saint do in this situation? And I just think this is better than naming children after sports stars, actors, or coming up with unique names that are hard to pronounce. So I ask you to consider it. And if you enjoyed this, hey, subscribe button right down there. Takes you 2 seconds. All you gotta do is click. I'd appreciate it. And have yourself a blessed day.